The alien girl and the thief boy. The sun above the alien market moon was bright and hot. Strange smells filled the air. Colors danced from every corner. Glowing fruits, bright cloth, metal tools, and more. Many different alien species walked between the stalls, speaking in many strange tongues. But Nyala, a young alien girl with deep violet skin and silver eyes, was not watching the sky or the crowd. She was watching her family's spice stall. Her father had gone to speak with a merchant nearby, leaving Nyala in charge for a few minutes. She stood tall behind the table, her head held high. She was only 13, but she took her job seriously. She watched every customer carefully. She had been told many times, "Spices are valuable. Watch for thieves." And then she saw him, a human boy, thin, dirty, and hiding behind a crate near the edge of the market. His clothes were torn. His face was sharp, like someone who had not eaten in many days. She had never seen a child so sad and hungry before. He looked around carefully. Then, when he thought no one was watching, he crawled low and reached toward a basket of dried spice fruit. His fingers touched the edge of one fruit, soft, golden, and sweet-smelling. But before he could pull his hand back, Nyla was already there. She moved fast, faster than the boy expected. Her hand shot out and grabbed his wrist. "Thief," she whispered, her voice cold. The boy did not pull away. He just looked up at her, breathing hard. "Go ahead," he said. "Call the guards." Nyla's grip stayed tight. "Why did you steal?" "Because I'm hungry," he said. "I haven't eaten in days." Nyla blinked. She had expected lies or begging. But the boy's voice was calm and quiet. He was not scared. Maybe he was too tired to be scared. "What's your name?" she asked. He looked surprised. "Jace." "Where are your parents?" "Dead." The word felt heavy in the air. Nyla looked at the fruit in his other hand. He hadn't run. He hadn't cried. He just stood there like he had nothing left. She looked around. No one else had noticed. The market noise covered everything. Slowly, she let go of his wrist. "Take the fruit," she said, "and take these too." She picked up 2 more pieces and pushed them into his arms. Chase stared at her, confused. "Why?" he asked. "Just go," she said, looking away. He nodded, then turned and ran. His steps were light, but his eyes stayed on hers until he disappeared behind a crowd of tall bird-like aliens. Nyla's heart was beating fast. She had just helped a thief. If her father found out, she would be in serious trouble. But something about that boy, something made her feel strange. Not bad, not good, just strange. Like she had done something important, though she didn't understand why. She went back to the stall. Her hands were shaking a little. 10 minutes later, a tall royal guard in blue armor walked up to her. "Young one," he said, "did you see a human boy pass this way? Dirty, small, might have been stealing." Nyla froze. The guard looked straight into her eyes. This was her moment. She could tell the truth and stay safe, or she could lie and risk everything. "No," she said softly. "I didn't see anyone." The guard nodded slowly, then moved on. Nyla stood still, her breath caught in her throat. She had lied to a royal guard. She didn't know why she did it, but somewhere deep inside, she hoped the boy was still running, and that he was eating the fruit she gave him. That night in her small sleeping room, Nyla looked out the window toward the stars. She wondered where Jace had gone. Was he hiding? Was he safe? She had met many people in the market over the years, but she had never met a human before, and she had never lied for anyone before. Somewhere, far away under a metal platform, Jace sat alone, chewing slowly on the fruit. His stomach still hurt, but it was a good pain, the kind that came with real food. He remembered the alien girl's silver eyes, the way she didn't shout, the way she didn't let him go, but also didn't turn him in. He smiled. For the first time in a long time, someone had seen him, really seen him. He whispered her name to himself, Nyla. And then, under the stars of the alien moon, both of them slept, each one thinking of the other. And neither of them knew how deeply their lives would change. Not yet, but soon. The bond no one saw coming the next morning, the market. Moon buzzed with the same sounds, traders shouting, hover carts humming, alien languages filling the air. But Nyla wasn't hearing any of it clearly. Her mind kept drifting back to the human boy she helped. She didn't know why, but something about his eyes stayed with her. Hungry eyes, yes, but calm too, like he had seen too much for someone so young. She sat behind the spice stall again. Her father was only a few steps away this time. She watched every shadow, every movement near the crates, hoping, and not hoping, to see Jace again. And then, just after midday, she saw him. He didn't crawl this time. He walked slowly through the crowd, holding something wrapped in old cloth. When he reached her stall, he didn't speak at first. Nayla's heart jumped. She looked around to make sure no one was watching too closely. Jace held out the cloth. "I came to return this." Nayla opened the cloth. It was the extra fruit she had given him. "Well, part of it." "You didn't eat it," she whispered. "I ate one," he said. "But the rest, they're too valuable." She looked at him, thin and pale, yet standing tall like someone trying not to look weak. "You could have sold these," she said. "I'm not a thief," Jace replied. "You helped me. I don't forget that." For a moment, Nayla forgot she was supposed to be cautious. She smiled. "You really came back just to return food? And to see if you'd talk to me again?" That surprised her. She glanced at her father. "Still busy? Come back here," she said quickly, walking behind the stall toward the supply crates. Jace followed, and together they sat behind a low wall where no one could see. He told her more that day. He said he came from a ship that was destroyed in a pirate attack. He had escaped in a life pod. The pod landed on a broken supply station near the moon. When he woke, he was alone. No adults, no friends, just silence and cold metal. He had wandered for days, looking for help. When he reached the market, he realized, quickly, humans were not welcome here. "Most of the aliens hate us," he said quietly. "They say we bring war." Nayla didn't know what to say. She had heard the same words from her teachers, from her own family. But looking at Jace, she couldn't see a threat, only a boy trying to survive. "I don't hate you," she said softly. Jace looked at her, and for the first time, his expression broke into a small smile. After that, he started coming back every few days. Always careful. Always quiet. He never stole again. Instead, they met behind the wall. Nayla brought him small bits of food. Jace brought her little things he found. An old human coin, a broken hollow chip, a tiny music box that still played a soft sound. They talked about everything. Nayla told him about her dream to become a galactic ambassador. Jace said he just wanted a home. Something with a roof. Maybe a bed. Nayla laughed. "You dream small." He smiled. "Small dreams are safer." As weeks passed, their bond grew. It was quiet, hidden, but real. And that's why it hurt so badly the day everything went wrong. Nyla had been careless. She left a message stone at her desk, one Jace gave her, shaped like a human moon. Her cousin, a sharp-eyed girl named Sarah, found it. Sarah had always been jealous. Jealous of Nyla's grades, her charm, and her freedom to speak to traders. When Sarah asked Nyla where the stone came from, Nyla lied. "A trader gave it," she said. But Sarah didn't believe her. She followed Nyla the next market day. Hidden behind the spice barrels, she saw Nyla meet Jace. She saw everything. And that night, she told Nyla's parents. The argument that followed shook the whole household. "A human?" her mother cried. "You meet a human in secret?" "He's just a boy," Nyla said. "He's kind." "No human is just anything," her father growled. "They are dangerous. They destroyed our border colonies. They caused the last 3 wars." "He didn't do that," Nayla shouted. He was just a child, but they didn't listen. The next morning, Nyla's parents sent a message to a distant academy. They had been planning to send her there one day, but now they rushed the process. Her shuttle would leave in 3 days. She was being sent away, far from the moon. Far from Jace. She cried quietly in her room that night. She didn't even get to say goodbye. Meanwhile, Jace waited behind the wall, not knowing she wouldn't come. He waited for hours, then days, and finally, he stopped waiting. He learned a hard truth. Sometimes the only people who care about you disappear, but deep down, a part of him held on to one thing, Nayela's smile, and that would stay with him no matter how far she went. Separated by force, remembered by heart, the ship that took Nyla away rose slowly into the pale sky of the market moon. Behind its wide glass window, she pressed her hand to the cold surface, watching the market disappear below. The colors blurred into dust. The stall, the crowd, the little corner where she once shared stolen time with a boy no one else had cared for. He would come today, she thought, and he would find nothing but silence. Nayla didn't cry, not because she wasn't hurting, but because the pain had gone too deep. It no longer burned. It simply stayed, quiet, heavy. The academy she was sent to was far away, on a lush, floating city above the gas planet Velena. Tall towers, clear blue skies, and peaceful songs played from silver domes. The students there were from noble alien families. They spoke with perfect words, smiled with perfect faces, and walked with perfect steps. Nayela never quite fit in. She studied hard. She passed all her exams. She became known as sharp, disciplined, and polite. But inside, she carried a quiet scar. She never told anyone about Jace, not even once. Yet at night, when the stars above Velena twinkled a certain way, she remembered his voice, his smile, his hunger, his honesty. In secret, she wrote about him in her personal journal. Not his name, just pieces of memory. The boy with fire in his eyes. The one who returned stolen food. The one who never begged. Years passed. Nayla grew taller. Her silver eyes became sharper. Her voice became respected. She trained in diplomacy, languages, and political law. Her instructor said she was meant for something great. But deep inside, she wondered if greatness would ever feel as important as one simple moment of kindness behind a market stall. Meanwhile, far from the sky cities on a different kind of world, Jace was growing too. His life was nothing like Nayla's. He never went to a school. He never had a bed of his own. But he learned how to survive. He found shelter in broken ships. He traded scraps for food. He joined a crew of outcasts, other human survivors, smugglers, repair techs, and even some aliens who didn't care what species you were, as long as you pulled your weight. He worked on engines, repaired circuits, and memorized star maps. He became fast with numbers, quicker with his hands, and quiet in his words. He became strong, not just in body but in will, but he never forgot. Every time someone offered him food, he remembered the girl who gave him fruit and risked her name to lie to a guard. Every time someone called humans worthless, he heard her voice say, "I don't hate you." One day, an old captain gave Jay something more, a chance. "You want more than just survival?" the captain asked. "Then learn to lead." Jace did. He rose quickly, not through power, but through respect. By the time he was 20, he had earned command of a trade vessel, and not just any trade. Jace specialized in transporting aid to hidden human refugee zones, keeping them safe from hostile governments. He became a name, quiet but known, and then one day, fate pulled two stars back together. A great summit was called between alien nobles and human settlers. Peace was growing, but the wounds of war were still fresh. Both sides wanted a future, but no one trusted the other. Nayela, now a young diplomat, was invited to attend as a translator and cultural advisor. She was calm as she stepped into the glass hall where the summit was held. Her long robe shimmered with the crest of her homeworld. She nodded to the leaders, listened carefully, and offered perfect translations in 4 languages. And then the next speaker entered. He was taller now, older, his hair darker, face stronger. But the eyes, those sharp, fire-lit eyes, were the same. Nayla's breath caught in her throat. It was him, Jace. He wore no fine robe, just a worn but clean coat with a symbol she didn't know. His posture was calm, confident, even respectful, but he didn't bow. And when his eyes met hers, across the room, he smiled, a small, knowing smile, as if all the years had never passed, as if he still remembered her exactly the same. Nayla tried to stay composed. She turned her head, looked back at her data pad, forced her hands to stay still, but her mind was spinning. He's here. He's alive. He found his way to this room. After the summit's first session ended, she stepped out into the garden courtyard. A breeze swept across the stone floor, and then soft footsteps. "You lied to a royal guard for me," a voice said behind her. "I never got to say thank you." She turned around slowly. He was there, standing under a tall alien tree, the leaves glowing blue around his shoulders. Nayla whispered, "You remember?" Jace nodded. "I never forgot." And just like that, 2 hearts broken by time and space began to remember how to beat again. But their world, even now, would not welcome what they were becoming. And somewhere nearby, jealous eyes were watching. Forbidden talks in hidden places. Nayla sat on the smooth bench beneath a glowing crystal tree, her thoughts tangled like its long silver branches. The air in the courtyard was quiet, but inside her chest, her heart thudded like a war drum. She had seen Jace again, not as a boy in rags, but as a man who stood with pride, not just surviving but leading. It didn't feel real. A shadow moved at the edge of her vision. She turned her head, expecting another diplomat, or maybe a curious aide. But it was him. Again, Jace walking slowly, hands in his coat pockets, a careful smile on his face. "Do you want me to leave?" he asked, voice calm but serious. Nayla stared at him. The sharp edges of his face had softened slightly with age, but there was still strength in his eyes, the kind of strength that came from surviving too much. "No," she whispered, "but you shouldn't be here." "Why not?" He sat beside her, leaving space between them. "We're both guests at the summit. You know what I mean." She looked away. "If someone sees us talking like this, they'll think a human and a noble alien girl are plotting something," he said with a small smirk. "Or worse, they'll think we're friends." She didn't laugh. Instead, she said softly, "We were more than that." Jace's smile faded, replaced with something deeper. "Yes, we were." Silence filled the space between them. Not cold silence, but the kind that wrapped around memories. Shared moments, quiet pain. "I thought you were gone," Nayla said finally. "When I was sent away, I didn't even get to say goodbye." "I waited for you," Jace replied. "Days, then weeks. I thought maybe you got sick, or worse. My cousin saw us, told my parents." She paused. "They were furious, I guessed," he said. "I learned that your people don't like mixing." "Some of them don't," she said. "Others are just afraid." "Of what?" "Of change." They both looked up at the stars, so many, endless. Jace shifted slightly. "You became everything you said you would, respected, graceful, part of the great halls." Nayla turned toward him. "And you became everything they said you couldn't, a leader, a protector." "I had no choice," Jace said. "No one gave me anything. I had to build my own life from pieces." "You built it well," she said, her voice warm now. "I saw the list of colonies you helped. Humans would have starved without you." "I only gave what you gave me first," he said. Those words made her chest tighten. "I gave you fruit." "You gave me dignity," Jace said. "That was worth more." She wanted to reach for his hand, but she didn't. Not yet. Instead, she whispered, "Why did you come to this summit?" "To stop another war," he said. "The leaders on both sides. They talk about peace, but they don't trust each other. I thought if they saw someone like me, someone who lived between the cracks, maybe they'd believe peace was possible." Nayla nodded slowly. "Then you're braver than all of them." A sharp sound echoed from beyond the courtyard. A voice, shouting something, then fading again. Jace stood quickly. "We shouldn't be seen together." Nayla hesitated. "Meet me tonight," she said, "behind the east tower. There's an old sky bridge no one uses anymore." He raised an eyebrow. "You still like secret places." "I still like you," she said quietly. He didn't speak. He just nodded and walked away. That night, the sky bridge trembled slightly in the wind. Built long ago to connect two towers, it was now empty, forgotten, too old for officials, too far for guards. Nayla arrived first. She waited, her cloak wrapped tight around her shoulders, her heart pounding again like it had in the courtyard. Then, footsteps. Jace appeared from the shadows, his coat blowing slightly in the breeze. He didn't speak until he stood beside her. "This feels like our old meeting spot," he said, "except no spice stall." She smiled. "And no hunger," he added. They both looked out over the lights of the city below, floating ships, glowing, windows, and in the distance the stars they had once wished upon. "Do you still write?" Jace asked suddenly. "Sometimes," she said. "About you." His eyes flickered. "You?" He reached into his pocket and pulled out something small, a tiny stone, dark and polished, shaped like a human moon. Nayla gasped. "You kept it?" "Of course," he said. "It reminded me that not everyone sees me as a threat." She touched the stone gently. "I thought I'd never see it again." Suddenly, a noise from the far tower. A red light blinked. "Security." They both stepped back. "We have to leave," Nayla whispered. "If they see us." But it was too late. A camera had turned. A small click. A flash of light. Someone, somewhere, was now watching. And in a quiet control room, a jealous cousin named Sarah leaned forward, smiling coldly. "So," she said, "you never really stopped meeting that human boy." And she pressed send. Tomorrow, the entire summit would change, and so would their lives. Shame, trial, and exile. The next morning, the grand hall of the summit buzzed with tension. Diplomats whispered to each other behind thin screens. Military advisors stood stiff along the walls. Even the air felt heavier, like it carried a secret. Nayla walked in, calm on the outside but her heart uneasy. She hadn't slept well. The memory of Jace's voice on the sky bridge stayed in her chest. His words, his eyes, his warmth. She should have been smiling. The peace talks had made progress. Things were moving forward, but something inside her felt cold. Then a voice echoed across the hall. "Nayla of Solari, step forward." She froze. The voice came from the high platform, one of the elder council members. Behind him, a screen lit up, and then came the image, a still photo. Her, on the sky bridge, standing beside a human man, Jace. The image was sharp, clear, and damning. Nayla's mouth went dry. Gasps filled the chamber. One alien delegate dropped his data scroll. Someone muttered, "Betrayal." Nayla's legs moved on their own. She walked to the center of the floor under the council's stare. "Do you deny this meeting?" One elder asked. "No," she said, quietly. "I do not." "Then explain yourself," another elder hissed. "You are a royal diplomat. You have ties to high family lines, and yet here you are, alone with a human, in secret. During peace talks," Nayla lifted her head. "He is not a threat," she said. More murmurs. "So you admit it," the elder said. "You have a personal relationship with this human man." "I knew him as a child," she said. "I helped him when no one else would, and I met him again now." Not by plan, but by fate. The eldest of the council stood. His voice was low but sharp. You met him, in secret, during a time of fragile diplomacy. This is not about feelings. This is about loyalty. I am loyal, Nayla snapped. But not to fear. Not to old hatred. The room silenced. Then, a woman's voice broke it. Your daughter has shamed your name. Nayla turned and saw her parents standing in the audience. Her mother's face was hard. Her father's jaw was locked. They had come, and they hadn't come to defend her. You will return home for judgment, her father said coldly. Our family must correct this. Nayla opened her mouth to speak. But Jace stepped forward from the far side of the hall. He didn't ask permission. He didn't bow. He walked to the center and stood beside her. No, he said, loud enough for all to hear. She does not need correction, she needs respect. The guard stepped forward. 2 pointed weapons, another reached for restraints. Stand down, the lead elder ordered. You are not part of this hearing. Maybe not, Jace said. But I am part of this piece. He looked directly at the council. I did not ask to meet her again, I did not plan anything, but she listened to me when no one else would. Back then, and now. If you punish her for that, then you are not afraid of danger, you are afraid of hope. That was too much. The guards moved in. They grabbed Jace by the arms and dragged him back. Nayla stood frozen as he was pulled from the hall. Then the verdict came. Nayla of Solari, you are hereby stripped of diplomatic rank. You will be exiled to the frontier colony of Alaris III for a period of 10 cycles. Your actions have dishonored your house. The world felt far away now. The lights of the chamber blurred, the voices around her faded, and then the silence of space. Alaris III was nothing like the sky cities of Valena. It was cold, dry, and forgotten. A mining colony half covered in snow and wind. Metal shelters bent from storms. Settlers wrapped in thick clothes moved between buildings with their heads down. Nayla arrived without ceremony. No welcome. No guards. Just a dropship, a windstorm, and a new name on a local registry. She was assigned a room. Gray walls, 1 bed, no windows. No one knew who she had been, and she didn't tell them. But every night she stepped outside, wrapped in her long coat and stared at the stars. She wondered if Jace had been hurt, if he had been punished too, or if he had gone back to his work, forgotten her, moved on. Yet deep down she knew the answer. He hadn't forgotten, and neither had she. She spent her days helping the sick, teaching young settlers to read, translating old alien texts for miners who found strange relics in the caves. They respected her, not because of her name, but because of her kindness. And slowly, the pain inside her began to change. It didn't fade, but it stopped growing. She was no longer a shattered daughter. She was something new. Then one day a messenger arrived at the outpost, not a soldier, not a noble, just a quiet traveler in a worn coat. Nayla didn't recognize him at first, but when he pulled out a small, dark stone, shaped like a human moon, her heart nearly stopped. Jace, she whispered. He smiled, tired but sure. I found something, he said. A place for people like us. Not noble, not pure, just honest. I built something. Her breath caught. Why are you here? His eyes softened. Because I want you to see it, and because I never stopped waiting. Her voice trembled. I thought they took everything from me. They didn't, he said. They just gave me a reason to build a home. And together, without a word more, they walked toward the horizon, toward a future no council could stop. He built a home, waiting for her. The journey from Alaris III to the new colony took 3 days. 3 days through cold space, through quiet stars, through time that felt both heavy and light. Nayla sat beside Jace in the old transport ship. It wasn't fancy. The seats were rough and the lights flickered sometimes, but she didn't care. She didn't ask questions either. Not at first. She just watched him. The way he moved, calm and focused. The way his eyes looked forward, steady and warm. They didn't speak much, but every now and then Jace would glance at her, not to check, not to study, just to be sure she was still there. And each time Nyala nodded as if to say, "I'm not going anywhere." On the third day, the ship slowed. Stars shifted. A blue and green world filled the window. "Is that it?" Nyala whispered. "Yes," Jace said. "That's Arcadia. Arcadia." The name tasted soft on her tongue. When they landed, she was not prepared for what she saw. A city, but not like the ones she had known. No towering palaces, no golden banners, no guards in shiny armor. Arcadia was simple, made of smooth stone and light steel wrapped in trees and clean air. People walked without fear. Some had tails, some had scales. Some looked almost human, others not at all, and all of them smiled. As Jace walked with her down the wide path, people greeted him with nods, respect, and even laughter. A few children ran up, their skins spotted with alien markings, but their eyes round and human. "Captain Jace," one of them shouted. "We finished the roof." "Good work," Jace said with a grin. "I'll check it later." Nyala watched, with wide eyes. "They love you." "I don't ask them to," he said. "I just give them what no one else would. A home, a chance." He led her to a round building near the edge of the forest. The walls were lined with plants that glowed at night. Inside it was quiet, simple chairs, warm light, and in the middle, a small glass table. On it sat a familiar shape, the moonstone. Nyala stepped forward slowly. "You kept it here?" "It was the first thing I placed when I started building," Jay said. "This place, I made it with you in mind." She turned to him. "You thought I'd come?" "No," he said honestly. "But I hoped, and I wasn't going to build a world without you in it." Her voice trembled. "Jace, I don't deserve this. They cast me out. I'm nothing now." He stepped closer. "You're everything that matters." And for the first time in years, she let herself cry. But not from pain, from something else. Relief. Joy. Love. Later, he showed her the heart of Arcadia, a garden filled with species from across the galaxy, a school where both alien and human children learned together, a hospital run by doctors from 6 different planets, all of it built from scratch, all of it real. "They told me peace was impossible," Jace said, "that we were too different. They told me love between species was wrong," Nyala added, "that hearts should match skin." Jace smiled. "But here, no one asks what you are, only who you are." She looked at him for a long time, then whispered, "And who am I to you?" He didn't answer right away. He reached into his coat and pulled out a tiny silver band. It wasn't fancy. No gems, no crest, just metal shaped by hand. He held it out. "You were the only one who saw me, not as a threat, not as a mistake, just as a boy who needed help. And now I see you the same way, not as a diplomat, not as royalty, just as Nyala." Her breath caught. "This isn't a grand proposal," Jay said, voice low. "It's not tradition, it's just a promise." She touched the ring, hands trembling. "What are you promising?" "That no matter what happens, I'll wait for you again. Every time. Even if it takes years." A quiet wind moved through the trees outside. Nyala looked down, then back at him. "Don't wait anymore," she said. "I'm already here." He slipped the ring onto her finger. No crowd cheered, no banners waved, but something bigger happened. 2 hearts, 1 alien, 1 human, found the same rhythm. The next day, word spread across the old networks. A high-born alien daughter, once exiled for loving a human, was now leading a colony where love, peace, and unity were no longer forbidden. Governments frowned. The old council turned away. But the people, they listened, and across the stars, Messages arrived. From hidden corners. From distant ships. From voices that had long been silent. "Tell us about Arcadia," they said. "Can we come too?" And so, what began as a quiet dream became a growing flame. But trouble was not far. Naila's homeworld had not forgotten her, and they were not done trying to silence what they feared most. Love, freedom, and a human who wouldn't kneel. The union that changed everything. The message came just before sunrise, a quiet alert on a dusty screen in Arcadia's central hall. At first, no one paid attention. The signal was old, encrypted in the royal codes of Naila's lost home. But, when decoded, the truth struck like lightning. They were coming. Naila's homeworld had sent a ship, not to visit, not to talk, but to arrest her. Jace stood at the edge of the colony's main square, eyes locked on the sky. The early morning light painted the treetops gold. Behind him, settlers gathered one by one, aliens, humans, half-blood children, all of them silent, waiting. "Are you afraid?" Naila asked softly as she stepped beside him. He looked at her. "Not for myself." She smiled sadly. "They're scared, Jace, not of us, but of what we prove. That love doesn't follow rules. That peace is possible without their chains." A low hum filled the air. Above them, clouds shifted. The ship broke through, sleek, silver, sharp like a blade. It hovered above the forest, casting a long shadow over the fields below. "They expect you to surrender," Jace said. Naila nodded. "They always did. Will you?" Her eyes stayed on the ship, not without speaking first. She stepped forward. The colony's people moved aside. Naila walked alone to the center of the square, her cloak sweeping across the stone. A loudspeaker cracked to life from the ship above. "Naila of Solari, step forward and board. You are accused of betrayal, unlawful bonding with a human, and igniting unauthorized settlement activity." She didn't flinch. She raised her voice, not with anger but with truth. "Yes, I helped build this place. Yes, I loved a human. And yes, I broke your rules." Gasps echoed from the growing crowd. "But let me ask you, what did your rules ever protect? Fear? Silence? Pain? I was taught to serve peace, yet when I found it, you called it wrong." She looked up at the ship, her voice rising. "Look around you. Do you see hate here? Do you see war? No. You see families. Laughter. Healing. We didn't break peace, we became it." Someone in the crowd clapped, then another and another. Soon, the entire square filled with applause, not wild or loud, but steady, proud. Jace stepped beside her now, not to protect her, but to stand with her. The ship above didn't respond. Instead, a figure descended, floating slowly, wrapped in robes of silver and red, a high inquisitor. He landed before Naila with cold eyes and a stone face. "Your words change nothing," he said. The law is broken," she interrupted, "and so are those who hide behind it." For a moment it looked like he might order her seized, but then, a young child, half human, half alien, stepped forward from the crowd. No older than 6, she carried a flower. Glowing softly, she walked up to Naila and placed it in her hands. "Thank you," she said quietly. The crowd hushed. The Inquisitor looked around, seeing faces not of enemies but of people, families, bound together not by blood but by trust. He didn't speak. He simply turned and rose back into the ship. The engines hummed, then faded, and just like that, the ship turned. It vanished into the clouds. They didn't take her. They couldn't, because the truth was now too loud. Weeks passed. The story of Arcadia spread like fire across the networks. Planets that once ignored humans now sent messages. Alien leaders, once silent, asked for tours. Colonies across the stars began forming their own open union settlements. Arcadia became more than a place. It became a symbol, a whisper of what could be, And in the center of it all stood two people, Naila and Jace, who never asked for power, but were given it through courage and honesty. One morning, under the light of twin suns, the colony gathered again. Not for war, but for a wedding. There were no crowns, no golden seats, only woven flowers, soft lights, and two hands joined before the people who called them family. Jace looked at her, eyes full of memory. I once stole fruit from your stall. Naila laughed, eyes shining. And I once lied to a guard for a boy who said nothing but the truth. And now, he whispered. Now, she said, we start forever. Cheers rose, not just from voices, but from hearts that had seen the impossible and believed in it anyway. And so, the alien girl who caught a human boy stealing married him beneath the stars, not as a criminal, not as a traitor, but as the first daughter of peace. And the boy, once broken and lost, became the first human to win the galaxy's heart without lifting a weapon, only by loving her and never letting go.